So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, y'all. Good morning. Happy Friday, June 30th, the last day, hopefully, in this courtroom saga. Welcome back. Hope y'all had a great Thursday evening. Everybody refreshed, recharged, ready to go. Anya, good morning. The viewer, good morning. Jerry Lineman, is that Grandpa? Good morning. Buckaroo Bonsai. Mange Koo, good morning. Jerry K. Cuff. Glenn C. Amia Boss, good morning. Punchy Nuts, what's up? All right, we got court starting in about 15 minutes. I got the new schedule up on the screen here. I know it's a little hard to read up in the top right, but that's mostly for me so I can tell y'all what's coming up. And then if you are wanting to listen in today, remember this is a no audio, or the court has asked us not to rebroadcast. So there are free dial-in lines in the bottom left hand of the screen. Guys, if you see people asking why no audio, please help me out and let them know to call in the numbers, the free numbers on the screen. And of course, if you're a member of the channel, I am live in the Discord also. Just please put your mics on mute, so we don't get a lot of chatter in the Discord. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee and then talk about Indiana Jones while we're waiting. But before we do that, just to make all the conspiracy theorists happy, just a reminder, on this channel, nobody pays me. What you are hearing is my own raw, unfiltered thoughts, opinions, and due diligence. I am not an attorney. I'm not your financial advisor. Please do your own due diligence when making your own buy and sell decisions. Just here sharing my thoughts, trying to help you wade your way through specifically financial statements, legal documents, things like that. Because Lord knows there is a bunch of people with agendas, emotions, and bias. So I do my best to give you a unfiltered view, step outside my body of the play and tell you what I think the court is going to do. What I wish they would do sometimes might be different than what I tell you. What I wish happens in a play sometimes is very different than what I tell you. But you guys need someone that is grounded to help get through this, part the Red Sea, so to speak. But bottom line, nobody pays me. These are my thoughts. I don't talk to other people. I don't like getting my DD from other people, and I don't like sharing it either, except with you here on camera or in the Discord. So welcome back. Now, Indiana Jones. I went and saw Indiana Jones yesterday. It was scheduled for 3 in the big Dolby THX theater, the dine-in theater in my area. And I got in the theater, ordered my food. I was so happy. I walked up and they said, "Hey, good morning. Are we going to, not good morning, good afternoon. Is it going to be the chicken Cobb salad and water again?" I was like, wow, these guys are sharp. And at the other theater, they know what my drink is at the bar. I haven't been to that one in a month since I haven't been drinking, but I said, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you remember my order. Ordered my food, went and sat down in the theater, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. The previews are playing, and there is no sound. Oh, no. And yeah, it didn't work out well, but it went all the way through the previews, all the way through Nicole Kidman, got to the movie, started playing no sound. And I had already gone out and talked to the manager, and they said, 20 minutes before that, they said, yeah, we know, we're trying to fix it. They couldn't fix it. So they came in and said, sorry, guys, you can go to the front and get a refund. We couldn't fix the sound. I was like, well, screw that. I'm not driving all the way home. And I looked, and there was another screening in a different auditorium. There's 10 auditoriums in that building. There was another one in 20 minutes. So I just walked over to that other auditorium. That's a court. Yeah. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. All right. I walked out of my theater, walked right across the hallway, and sat down in another huge theater it had digital sound. It wasn't the Dolby THX. But I wasn't going to drive all the way home. And I was surprised that not one other person from my pretty full first auditorium had the same thought. So I got to watch the movie immediately, almost. I had to watch 20 minutes of previews again. And I thought Indiana Jones was really good, guys. Now, again, I grew up with Indiana Jones. I loved the first couple, and I really was looking forward to this. And I've read the reviews. I went in there with very low expectations. And I'm going to tell you, it's not an Academy Award winning movie. It's Indiana Jones. You go there for certain things, right? The chase scenes, the place, all of the scenery, Tunisia and Greece and Italy, all these big sweeping landscapes, the music, the chase scenes, the whip, the Nazi flags. The first 30 minutes, I felt like I was back in time watching the original Indiana Jones, the first 30 minutes of that movie. It was just so good. And I was worried that the female lead was going to be overpowering. You know how Hollywood is doing these days. No, the two characters worked very well together. And just in summary, before the court starts, I thought that was a very good send-off for Indiana Jones as he gracefully slips into old age. And maybe I'm a little biased because I'm slipping into old age too. But go see Indiana Jones. Don't fucking listen to the critics. And let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree after you see it? It's okay if you disagree. I'm just sharing my experience with it. I thought it was really, really good. Powerhouse, what's up? He's asking for predictions after the court settlement. I don't think there'll be any drastic change today, guys. I know a lot of people were saying something's going to happen before January 28th. Others are saying something's going to happen on June 28th. Others saying something's going to happen on June 30th. I think we're going to be range bound, just like what you're seeing, until the next real court decision, till the judge drops her written opinion. That could be today at 5 o'clock Eastern, or it could be September 30th, right? She has 90 days after the court is done today. And I'm hoping it will be sometime in July, but we'll see. The other things that could change the price in my mind right now would be Q2 earnings coming out, which should be around the first week of August. Companies have 35 days after, I can't remember if it's calendar days or business days, but they have 35 days by SEC rules after the end of the fiscal quarter to post their earnings. So let's just say around first week of August, we'll get Q2 earnings. I'm expecting it to be an upside surprise. So we got court, we got earnings, and then the other thing that would change the price in my mind would be any overall market dynamic change. Interest rates, war, recession. So those are the things that I'm looking at. Until any of those happen, I think that doing TA or trying to read charts on AMC and APE is, other than on the margins where you're going to have some small movements, I don't think it's going to be meaningful. A couple reminders. Yes, there could be leaked info, Matt. There could be leaked info, and it might leak 2 minutes before we get it. There's corruption. There's leaks. Somebody always knows something before us poor retail, and that's not a joke. They always know something. So go in your trading account, set up your alarms for the ticker to monitor for big movements up or down. I've got several alarms set for AMC and APE. Big movement up, big movement down, and certain price targets. Have your trading plan. If you're gonna hold it, then you don't need to worry about this, right? If you're worried about something dumping or something skyrocketing, set some price targets for both directions or whatever you're worried about, and be thinking about right now. Are you going to hold no matter what, or are you going to have a trading plan if A or B, up or down, happens? These are all good things to be thinking about right now, because there's going to be a lot of volatility. No one knows what's going to happen. And again, I'm not here to tell anyone to buy, sell, or hold, but I am setting my alarms so that if something goes not the way I'm expecting it, that I get the earliest possible notice and then can implement a plan if if it's going against the way that I want it to. Powerhouse, thank you. I looked up that Huma Pro again the other day when you messaged me in the comments. I have still a full cupboard of stuff that I'm working through, but I'll order some next time I run out. And I am starting back at the gym on the 1st. All right, here we go. I'm going to shut up now. One objector. 5, 6, 7. There were 11. Supposed to be 11. So Mr. Marshall's going to speak for 20 minutes, the one objector. Then we're going to probably do, I don't know if they're going to do a break or right into counsel rebuttals, but that's on the agenda for today. Plaintiff, defendant, Izzo, Counsel, counsel, counsel. I would imagine they'll recess and see if the other objectors show up. But let's see what happens with Mr. Marshall. All right, here we go. Can y'all hear the live stream in the Discord? Okay. Does this guy know Wanda doesn't own AMC stock anymore? It's fucking published. God damn. There's no magical bean shares that don't split. Come on. I'm glad he came and spoke too, but not one legal argument against the settlement was presented in that manifesto. Wow. Wow. You just heard the conspiracy manifesto right there. Look, we all know there's crime and manipulation, but communist China, really? Nuclear powers? Come and present a legal objection to the settlement. That was the point of objecting. Whew. Wow. What do y'all think? Judge is like, I gotta go. I'll be right back. I want to hear 10 more like that. Where's the other 10 folks? He started having some rational points at the very end, but man, he started off just way too wide. Way too wide. Steve says this is so embarrassing. Yeah. When the prosecution, when the plaintiff says, when they talk about a fringe, what did they call us? What did they call the objectors? A small fringe element of, I forget the exact words they used, but that guy personified it, unfortunately. Jeffrey says, I think this is a conspiracy and the government is covering up fact that they're using pigeons to listen in on us. All the birds are cameras, guys. There are no more birds. They've been replaced with robots. You've seen that, right? People actually think this. I think, honestly, the best two talks that I've heard so far were of everything, including the counsel, was the two gentlemen at the end of the day yesterday. Spoke from the heart, got the real feelings of a retail investor. This one was quite different. Why is it so quiet in there? Everybody just speechless? If it flies, it spies. The birds have to sit on the power line to recharge. Darren, so when we saw No Hard Feelings on Wednesday night, that theater was full. When I saw Indy yesterday, it was in a massive theater at 3 p.m. on a Thursday. It was not full. It had maybe, I counted about 35 people. And then when I moved theaters because the sound was out, that one also had about 35, 40. But when I left, it was 6:30, and the lobby was as more full than on a weekend. There were 50 people in the bar drinking. I posted a photo, and the concessions line was packed. So it looked like it was going to be a very, very busy Thursday night there at that AMC. Normally, when I go to any showing early in the day on a weekday, it's rarely crowded ever. So I was not expecting Indiana Jones to be packed at 3 p.m. on a Thursday. But yeah, I talked about it at the beginning of this broadcast. I really enjoyed it. I grew up with Indy. This movie had everything that you want from an Indiana Jones movie. So what was going on in the Discord this morning? Could y'all not hear the court until I unmuted my mic? If I mute my mic, you should still be able to hear the court. Jeffrey says he's got his tickets booked for Sunday night. I guess that's for Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones and No Hard Feelings obviously are two completely different types of movies, but I would recommend both, especially if you're like my age and you grew up with Indy. You'll especially enjoy the first 30 minutes because it's kind of like a flashback in time. It is a long movie. It's 2.5 hours, but it didn't feel like 2.5 hours. I was in a chair that fully reclined. I was like, that's the danger with these nice, comfy, flat reclining chairs. You almost want to fall asleep. And the seat had heaters in it. In case you're chilly, you don't need to bring a blanket. AMC this morning down 0.5%, $4.39. Now that the market's opened, Ape is up almost 1% at $176. While we're waiting on the court, let's look at a couple of others. GameStop is up 0.5%. Bed Bath & Beyond, I guess because it's OTC, no updates yet. But I saw yesterday that Dreamtime, or I think that might be the name of the company, had made a bid for Bye Bye Baby of $15 million, which is not the $1 billion that the Bed Bath & Beyond folks were hoping for. The actual auction, I think, is over on July 7th. But man, if there's no other bidder, if there are no other bidders and 15 million is the winning bid, it's going to be wipeout time, like I've been saying, for Bed Bath & Beyond holders. Mullen this morning down 3%. There was an announcement yesterday that Mullen sold 22 vans. 22 for $14,000 each. MSRP $24,000. They are going to show revenue of $14,000 on 22 vans. Woo! For Q2. Go Mullen, yay. Yeah, that's a hot mess right there. Their losses last quarter, I think, were 140 million. So I'm not sure how much of a dent that 300,000 in revenue is going to make. Also keep in mind, whatever they're booking as losses every quarter is going to be increased by the increased staff to do production and all the associated costs that go with that. So all the people that hate Adam Aaron, for whatever reason, they love Mullen. You know, the guy that God talks to, and the other guy down in Florida, the GD, what's his name? No, Donahue George. He loves Mullen for some reason. The CEO of Mullen's just fine with him. The financial statements of Mullen, just fine. But AMC's the problem. Why? Why would you make videos telling people Mullen's a great play? Because it's 11 cents? That's where your DD stops? Why are people not calling out Mullen's CEO? These same people making 10 videos a day about Adam Arno got no problem with David Mishery. You want a career, go investigate David Mishery. No, they're not speaking at the moment. They must have gone on break after that diatribe. We have 11 speakers, objectors lined up for today. Only one showed up. They're on break, I guess, waiting to see if anybody else walks in the courtroom. I was kind of upset last night, to be honest. When I got back from the movie, I saw this guy that God talks to him, postulating, theorizing, asking out loud to his audience, did the objectors, did somebody get to them? Were they paid off? Were they bribed? Did somebody threaten them? Did they take a bribe? I'm like, come on. This is the what I talk about to you guys about this prism of conspiracy, where every fucking thing in your world is a conspiracy. To accuse these poor retail traders, and I don't mean poor as in monetarily, but poor that someone would say that fucking shit about them, to accuse them of that is just not even It's beyond the pale. I'm so pissed that someone would do something like that. And that is indicative of the conspiracy fucking people on YouTube right now that we got to deal with. Everything in the world is a conspiracy. Something doesn't go my way, it's a conspiracy. Obviously, they were bribed. And no one said anything. The two people that showed up, they were bribed, but they just decided not to say anything and show up anyways. Come on, guys. You YouTubers, be better humans, honestly. You are leading people down a very dangerous path, trying to tell them that everything in this fucking world is a conspiracy. And then he drops a Mullen video right after that. Same fucking dude. Unfucking believable. Apple's market cap just topped $3 trillion. Holy shit. Let's see. Yes, there is fraud and manipulation in the stock market, but not everything in your life is a conspiracy. We went from believing in naked shorts, FTDs, market makers creating naked shorts, manipulation of the system, algos, all valid things, right? To thinking now that objectors have been bribed, that Tony Denaro is on a script, that Adam Aaron is feeding me information, that I planted someone in the speakers list yesterday. Get a fucking grip. God dang, you guys. Not you guys, but these other Looney Tunes. Not one thing you guys say is correct. But you believe it. I get it. You believe it. But you have some serious issues. Let's get back to the good conspiracies like FTDs or naked, not delivered shares. Let's focus on the original stuff. We have spiraled to a place where reality is no longer in these people's life. All right, I get off my soapbox. I hear the court. Let's see if they have something to say. Paolo, good morning. Long time no see. Jack, good morning. Jay Scott says he has a feeling AMC may do a Carvana. Wow. I would comment, but let's see. All right, plaintiff's rebuttal. So we're going to Allegheny's attorneys now. Call-in numbers are on the screen. If you can't hear the court, I am not allowed to broadcast it. So here we go. I'm going to shut up. Yeah, this guy needs a fucking coffee. Come on. Get a cattle prod under his ass. Wake up. We need $20 million because Ethan kept on calling us and harassing us. What's up, Ethan? If you're listening. All right, that was the plaintiff Allegheny's rebuttal. We're going to move on next, if they don't go on break, to AMC, Defendant's Counsel. Here we go. I'm going to go back on mute so we can listen. Call-in numbers are on the screen. All right, we are moving on to Rose Izzo's counsel now. Call-in numbers are on the screen if you want to hear the audio of the court. I cannot broadcast it per the judge's instructions. Expect some crying. So, so July 5th, Judge Zern. So that is a wrap on counsel rebuttals. Only one objector out of 11 showed up. We're probably going to wrap up the live stream here and shortly, but the court is going to stick around in case any other objectors show up. Maybe they're late, maybe they're driving. Noon was the last scheduled objector, noon Eastern, which is 1 hour from now approximately. I think it's probably safe to assume that for whatever reason, except no, they were not bribed. They were not bribed, Mr. Glasses. They probably had some life shit come up or a change in their conviction or something reasonable other than to accuse them of being bribed. But for whatever reason, 1 out of 11 showed up. The judge said that she will not be issuing her opinion today. She won't be issuing it over the holiday, but I think we can expect it any time after that. That means July 5th through September 30th, because they have up to about a 90-day window. So stay on your toes, sleep with your eyes open, set your alerts on both tickers so that you, if it drops in pre-market or after hours, that you get notified. Somebody will probably know before us. The big money always knows before us. Things will be moving a minute or two before the news drops, or the second the news drops. So if you're going to trade, if it's going the way that you want and you see an out or you see a buy, you know, if something dips, whatever your plan is, you want to have those alerts set now. I found it interesting today that the big money attorneys, Allegheny and AMC, seem to, you know, that Ms. Izzo's attorney again spoke more eloquently, maybe not to the points of the law, right? But just his general speaking demeanor was so much easier to listen to than the big money attorneys. She said not next week through the holiday period. So, what? I mean, all right, let's just say it's not going to be next week. I can tell you that I'm going to be paying attention every day from when we come back to market hours in the court's regular hours. I think the judge is probably going to hopefully enjoy her holiday. God knows she's earned it. And then come in next week and start thinking about writing down her opinion. But how many days or weeks it takes her, I don't know. What questions do you guys have? Michael says, what is the update? They are already wrapping up for the day, Michael. In fact, I think we're probably wrapped for the day since nobody showed up to talk. Thank you for, who was it, Mr. Marshall, for showing up and sharing your thoughts, and the two gentlemen yesterday. I know that, you know, for many people, especially the second gentleman driving 10 hours, I admire that determination. And I am happy that at least 3 people got to show up and share their thoughts, whether or not you agreed with them. Mighty me. Okay, so yeah, there were a lot of Twitter comments and such, YouTube videos put out during the day, yesterday and yesterday evening, with people hearing the same court proceedings I'm hearing it through their own filter and assigning certain outcomes or certain beliefs about what the judge was saying. And everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? Your filter on things is going to, I think, sway how you hear what she's saying. Some people think the judge is spanking the attorneys. I just hear the judge asking hard questions to help her make up her mind. I don't think she's spanking anybody. She's testing. She's asking hard questions. She did her homework. She came prepared, maybe even more so than the attorneys. Like, God damn, y'all had 4 months to prepare for these 2 days, these attorneys. You showed up with a team of 5 people, and you're stumbling on her questions. Not a great look for either of the 2 big power firms, Allegheny and AMC. Allegheny's attorneys clearly spoke a lot. Both Allegheny's attorneys and AMC's were here these 2 days to speak, to advocate for the settlement. Let's be clear on why they were here. And I heard Allegheny's attorneys say several times that they did not think that they could win on all of the merits of all of the case. And this case really was about, did AMC go around common shareholders to ram through APE? Well, we kind of know that they did. But the question is, was it legal? And did they have a valid business need to do that? Now, you already know my opinions on that. Other people have different opinions. That's why we're in court. Some people think, no, they did not have a valid legal reason to do it. And no, they did not have a business need. Clearly, I disagree. It's okay if you agree or disagree with me. That's what the judge is going to decide. So we don't need to become enemies over this. We just have different interpretations of the law in the legal filings that the company made with the SEC and the Delaware Secretary of State. And that is why I think it is important for people to always read the filings, because reading them, first of all, you're not going to be surprised when they pull an end run with blank check preferred stock. And it was surprising to me, honestly, to see YouTubers catching up on filings a week ago that I was reading 2 years ago or 8 months ago. Like, I cannot stress enough to you guys, if you're holding a stock, especially something crazy like this, when a filing drops, you should read it then and try and understand it. You can't do retroactive DD. People asking me yesterday, what do I think about a 2018 lawsuit? Why are you worried in 2023 about a 2018 lawsuit? You should have known about that in 2021 and decided to buy the stock or not. To come in 5 years later and say, well, I'm mad about Adam Aaron got sued in 2018. Too late. It's too late. You've been in this play 2 years, and now you decide that that's something you're mad about. You could have saved yourself a lot of money if you would have done your DD. You could have sold at 70. Like, I don't trust this company. I don't trust these executives. But no, you didn't study that, and you held all the way down to 436.9, and now you decide that you're going to get mad about a 2018 lawsuit. Wrong time, my friends. Read the damn filings. All of these lawsuits have been disclosed in every 10K, every 10Q for 5 years. All right, I'll get off the soapbox. I'm going to keep on pounding the table to help you guys understand the logic, the reason, the urgency of always reading. And if you can't read a 10K, start learning. Does not matter if you're in a day trade, a momentum trade, a swing trade. None of that matters. I don't even look at them. But when I see people holding stocks for weeks and weeks and then turns into months, I start looking at them. And it really matters now. It didn't matter in 2021. We had $2 billion in cash on the balance sheet. Money was piling in. Interest rates were low. Times were good. But now we're in a recession. Interest rates are high. Institutions don't want to put money in money-losing companies. That's why the prices fall. Nobody wants to buy. No institutions want to support a money-losing company in a risky market environment. Apes have been buying, retail's been buying because they don't look at financial statements. They don't understand what working capital is. Right? If you go to the balance sheet and look at current assets and current liabilities, that is the formula for working capital. Current assets minus current liabilities. Now, in 2021, our working capital for AMC was in great shape because they had almost $2 billion on the balance sheet. Right now, guys, it is negative $1 billion. That's the cash that they have available to pay the upcoming short-term bills. Negative $1 billion. That is why this company is being shorted, because it is a train headed to a bridge that is about to collapse. Whether you cannot believe, because Adam Aaron tweeted that they had high concessions on May 5th, you're going to just ignore the balance sheet? No, you can't do that. Stop overestimating the importance of one tweet. Learn to read a balance sheet. Learn to read an income statement. Stop decoding tweets. Tweets don't fucking matter. The criticality of AMC being able to raise capital is to repair the balance sheet. That could be done several different ways. Sell stock, dilution, and get cash on the balance sheet. You could also sell stock, get cash on the balance sheet, and pay off some of the debt. I'm not advocating for paying off all the debt. If it means raising cash and then spending that cash to pay off the debt, you're back stuck with no cash. Paying off all the debt, in my book, is not a great plan unless they were to raise, say, $4 billion bucks, then pay off $2 billion. Cool. I'd prefer to see about $2 billion cash again on the balance sheet. That buys the company 2 more years of not worrying about immediate risk of bankruptcy. I still think, looking at the domestic box office projections, we have risk of having negative quarters in Q3 and Q4. I hope not, but Q3, I think, almost certainly will be a money-losing quarter. This one we're in, Q2, I think we'll make a little bit of money. I'll drop my video on that this weekend, but just a little teaser. Somewhere in the neighborhood of profits of about $50 million. But then what happens if we lose $200 million next quarter? We've only got $495. Foreclosure by lenders could theoretically click in if we get down to $100 million. So what happens if we have 2 quarters at the end of this year where we lose $225 million? It depends if it's cash or net income. Net income includes some things that don't actually spend cash, like amortization and things like that. We'll talk about that when I do the video this weekend. But at any rate, it's foolish to say there's no risk of bankruptcy. There is risk, unless you're just living life with rose-colored glasses and you think every quarter from now till infinity is going to be profitable. Then yeah, okay. In your world, there's no risk. I get it. What about, Tony, why do they have to raise money by selling stock? Couldn't they just get more loans? Sure. Go get more loans in a higher interest environment. Fuck up the balance sheet even more and see how that plays out. It's a short's dream to put more debt on the balance sheet. That is not a plan. In the conspiracy theorist world, that's a great plan, right? Because it doesn't dilute them. I get it. But you're not fixing the problem by taking on more debt to get cash. You're making the problem worse. You're adding, now you got $7 billion in debt instead of $5 billion. Why are they attacking AMC right now? $5 billion in debt, no cash. You don't want to add to the debt. Patrick says, why do we need a reverse stock split? On the New York Stock Exchange, once a ticker goes under $5, it starts getting into a category of what a lot of institutions consider a penny stock. Many of you, I've seen you posting, are getting warnings from your broker that you need to sign a penny stock disclosure to trade AMC because it's under $5. And some institutions and mutual funds will not buy penny stocks. Even though it's not under $1, technically under $5 for many institutions and funds makes it a non-tenable buy unless they're forced to buy it for an index tracking fund. So the reason for the reverse split is to get the price over $5. What other questions y'all got? Yeah, Adam says a recession will probably happen in 6 months. Like, what happens if there's a massive recession and the stock market falls even more in AMC and people stop going to movies? Things get too expensive. Times are too tough. People are losing jobs. Just the fear of the unknown is why this company is trying to be proactive about at least having the option to raise money if they need to. I don't know how much they're going to dilute. I would prefer it be a small amount, just enough to get them through the next year or two. If it's massive dilution, it's not going to be great for shareholders, no doubt. I'm not as worried about a reverse split because that does not change any math as I am about dilution. And I hope you guys are listening when I say I am concerned about dilution. I'm not worried about the reverse split. Does that mean that the price could go down after a reverse split? Sure, it could. We see it every freaking day. If the fundamentals don't change in companies, whatever trajectory they were on, a reverse split does not change that trajectory. You need to be able to, AMC must continue increasing revenues, which they have been. You see those box office numbers going up every quarter in general. As long as that keeps happening, that will have a dampening effect on the ability of shorts to drive the price down, I think. Like, we have a market cap of what? $3.8 billion. Let's call it $4 billion bucks. Let's just say that's a fair valuation of AMC right now. Does it make sense if we've been holding at this level for a fairly decent amount of time that even if they shorted the market cap down to $2 billion, that it would just sit there? I mean, you're talking approaching levels of market cap of the company in 2020 when no movies were showing. We're not in that situation. But fundamentals do need to improve. You got to improve the balance sheet. You need to get more profitable quarters for this stock to go up. Woodstock says Highcroft hit a 52-week low today of 28 cents. I'm going to tell you what I said the other day about Highcroft. I already told my Discord a week or probably 2 weeks ago. I sold my Highcroft and bought puts. Not because I hate Highcroft. Like, you guys know, I've been following Highcroft for a year. I've been trading it, buying on the dips, selling on the rips. This most recent, very small position I had was close to the current price. I think I had bought around 50 cents and sold around 35. I lost a few dollars on the trade, but it's a risky play, so I was not putting a lot of money in it. Highcroft has got a reverse split coming up. They have no revenue, and they're going to need to raise money to build that milling plant. So I am currently bearish on Highcroft. Why? What other company right now has no revenue and just did a reverse split? Mullen. Look what happened to their stock. no revenue, reverse split, and I think Highcroft is going to issue more stock. Boom, boom, boom. 3 strikes. They're going to need to raise money to build that milling plant, either an equity raise or debt. So I do not want to hold Highcroft until I see what they decide to do. No amount of buying silver coins with Diane Garrett's face on it is going to help Highcroft right now. They need to get back to mining, and that's a couple years off. And I'm reading the filings. They've got enough cash on the balance sheet to explore for the next 2 years. But at some point, they're going to need to spend a massive amount of money to build a milling plant to get back into production. So I'm predicting a cash raise through equity or debt, a reverse split. And that combined with no revenue is not bullish for me on Highcroft right now, unfortunately. So not buy, sell, or hold advice. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. She might be able to, I mean, she should be able to find private investors. I mean, it's a public company. She can do you're going to see a prospectus come out for Highcroft. It could be a private placement. That's still common stock being issued. Or she could do it at the market. But I have a strong sense that there's going to be a money raise. I can't tell you that's going to happen in the next month. It might be in the next 6 months, 9 months. But it will probably, look, we've seen this playbook. You've seen my video about the CEO handbook. You know what happens after a reverse split on a company that needs to raise cash, right? Reverse split, pop the price up, drop the prospectus, dilute the shareholders. That's probably going to be the order of events. And somewhere in there, they'll drop some good news. David Michery handbook. Drop some good news right before you dilute. They'll drop some good news about exploration is complete. We've found this massive amount of gold and silver, but we just need $500 million, $1 billion to build a milling plant. And we'll be good to go in 2026, 2027. It's going to be a rough ride for Highcroft. So utilize caution is all I'm going to say. Go read the filings. Watch my videos on Highcroft. Get up to date. If the only thing you're doing is watching people on Twitter buying coins, you got a lot of catching up to do. Fabio, good morning. The court is probably done for the day. We already had the final rebuttal arguments from counsel. Only one objector showed up. So unless somebody shows up in the next 50 minutes, they're going to call it a day. Markets next week in the U.S. is going to be a little bit, we got a holiday. My friends in the UK were saying, what's so special about July 4th? Good one. Markets will be closed at 1 p.m., I understand, on Monday, and fully closed on Tuesday, the 4th. Fidget Spinner says lowest market cap in 2022. Go back and look. What was the market cap for AMC at the lowest, at the worst point of 2020, and then at the end of 2020? That'll give us kind of a range. I think it was somewhere slightly under $1 billion when we had no revenue at all. I'm just, I mean, I could be wrong, but for them to chop this thing down to $2 billion with a profitable quarter that we're in right now, yeah, we're probably going to lose money this year, probably about 31 to 36 cents per share for the whole year. But I don't see the market cap getting chopped down. What's going to happen when they do dilution, though? Let's talk about that for 1 second. Let's just say the market cap is fairly valued at $4 billion, current prices. If he doubles the float and the market cap stays the same, think about it for a second. If you've doubled the float in order for the market cap to stay the same, what has to happen to the price per share? It has to come down. It's not realistic to think that prices won't change when dilution happens. Because if you want to keep the same float, the prices per share, if you want to keep the same market cap, and price is per share, and you doubled the shares, price per share in dilution will come down. So I want you guys to be aware that is probably coming in the future. I don't know how much dilution he's going to announce. And I don't know when. Once he raises money, once any company raises money and then the market knows the dilution is done and they announce how much money they raised, they come out with this glowing press release always, right? You've seen it on Mullen, even though I don't trust that guy because he has no production, right? Oh, we've got how many times has Mullen said they have enough cash? That guy fucking lies through his teeth. We've got enough cash, and then the next week he's diluting again. I don't think you're going to see that with AMC. It'll be a one and done. There'll be a dilution. He'll raise cash. Then there'll be a press release at some point when he's done that says, hey, we got $2 billion on the balance sheet. Bankruptcy is off the table, at least for 2 years. And then the market can kind of assimilate that good news and start trading up, especially if you follow that in subsequent quarters over the next 2, 4, 6, 8 quarters with some profits. Then things start looking up. So how is the ride going to be over the next 1, 2, 8 quarters? It's going to be volatile. Buckle in if you're going to stay in this play. That's all I can say. Buckle in. We are going to go ahead and wrap up here for the day. I'm going to do a check-in on the New York Antara case, and I'll also do a check-in on the AMC versus the insurance company's case, and I'll try and do an update for you guys over the weekend on those. Neither one of those are going to affect this reverse split and conversion. The Antara trading thing in New York, that's a completely separate issue. The insurers paying for the settlement, obviously, you know, we'd prefer the insurance companies pay for it, not us. If AMC has to pay the $20 million, that comes out of our pockets. So I'll check in on that, but it's not going to affect what happens in the Delaware case. Why is AMC in so many lawsuits? VRO, I mean, it's just a fact of corporate life. I would challenge you to find any 10Q or 10K of any company that is not full of lawsuits. You got to go down to the last few pages. But almost all of them are being sued for something at some point. Sparky says AMC can't get more loans. I mean, I tend to agree with you, but people that don't really understand corporate finance, even if they could get more loans, what sense does that make? Considering we're being fucking shorted for being $5 billion in debt. Why does adding another $2 billion in debt make sense? Do you realize you're just making it more shortable by advocating that theory? Not you, Sparky, but all the conspiracy people. But Adam, we saw an email that said they could get more debt. I kind of read that email as we could refinance the debt. But let's just use their theory, like they could get $2 billion more. You're just handing the shorts exactly what they want, more debt on the balance sheet. It's not fixing things. I get it. Dilution is not palatable for most people, all of us. It's not. It's just not. But adding more debt is just as bad or worse. It makes the company more shortable and more at risk of bankrupt by adding more debt to the balance sheet. These same people that are now advocating, why doesn't Adam Aaron read that email and add $2 more billion to the balance sheet, are the same idiots that are complaining that Adam Aaron loaded up the company with $5 billion of debt in 2019. They make video after video, space call after space call, bitching about Adam Aaron loading up the company with debt to purposely bankrupt it. And then out of the other side of their mouth, they say, why doesn't he take the other $2 billion in that email? Do you realize how duplicitous your argument is? I hear you. Doesn't escape me. You can't have it both ways, friends. You can't complain about him loading up the company with debt to bankrupt it, and then 1 week later complain, why didn't he take that other $2 billion? How does that make sense in your world? Dan says AMC already booked 120 million charge in Q1. I had forgotten about that, Dan. I will go read that again. Thank you for the reminder. Sly says the email indicates refinancing. That's how I took it, Sly. And I also took the time to bounce it off of somebody way smarter than me. And she agreed also that it was refinancing. Now, I just don't care to get in the drama with these conspiracy theorists that are pushing that email. But my first read on it was refinancing. I bounced it off of someone way smarter than me in corporate finance. Got the same answer. I agree with you. But I'm just saying, let me just step away from my opinion and go with their opinion that it was an offer for $2 billion more in debt. Let's just entertain them, the conspiracy theorist. Let's just entertain their argument that they could have gotten $2 billion more in debt. Bad. Jeffrey, good question. Thank you. I meant to answer that yesterday. Captain John Barton mentioned to Judge Zern, please take the full 90 days to issue your opinion, Judge Zern. So the reason they are asking for that, honestly, is they think that if we have 90 more days after 2 years in this play, 3 more months is going to cause the MOAS. Just, that's as plainly as I can say it. And I know that because Mr. Barton sent me a DM on Twitter and said that was his reason. Now, as just to wrap up the $2 billion on that email that the conspiracy people keep on pushing, saying, why didn't Adam Aaron address this. I've already think I've torn apart the reason why you would not want to add $2 more billion of debt on the balance sheet. It makes zero financial sense. It's a short's dream. But let's talk about refinancing. Say he refinanced the $3 billion that's due in 2026. Does that mean that the company is no longer at risk of bankruptcy? Absolutely not. Look, let me give you an example in your own personal life. If you've got $100 in your checking account and your mortgage payment is $2,000 a month, and you've got a $500,000 loan at 12% interest, and the bank offers to refinance your loan at 8% interest and drop your payment to $1,800. Did that help you if you've got $100 in your checking account? You're going to miss your mortgage payment still. Refinancing debt does not help when you're running low on cash and burning $200 million a quarter or $100 million a quarter. Refinancing the debt is not going to make a meaningful impact on the cash burn. It could make a small impact. But AMC has much bigger problems right now with the losses they're taking per quarter than refinancing debt. It would be a helpful change, but the best thing they can do is get more cash on the balance sheet or have every quarter profitable. And we're not quite there yet. We're getting close. Next year, maybe. We're not there this year. Yeah, Jim, Overstock, we're switching to Bed Bath & Beyond real quick. They bought the IP for Bed Bath & Beyond, and I read in the news, as I was speed reading through headlines, that someone also made a bid of $15 million for Bye Bye Baby. The hopium dealers for Bed Bath & Beyond were expecting billion-dollar bids. I don't know what they're smoking. But if that was correct, that someone made a $15 million opening bid and the bids are closing, the auction's closing on July 7th, if there's no other bidders, Common is going to get wiped out on BBBY. There's no way around it. All right, ladies and gents, mods and members, thank you for your time. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I am, if you're watching it on replay and you're wondering why I was quiet the whole time, we were listening in, and I apologize that the court does not allow us to broadcast the audio. I wish they could. I wish they would. Just to wrap up, I'm going to say what I said at the beginning. I think we're going to see AMC and APE range bound in the current levels. TA is useless on these stocks until we get news, being Q2 earnings or a judge's decision or some market news, like the market decides to run up or the market crashes. Those are the three things the only three things that I think are going to get us unstuck from where we're at. Until then, I think, depending on how people digest how this 2 days went, AMC institutions, I think, don't want to buy it because they're worried about the conversion, and that will, in my opinion, drop the price of AMC and increase the price of APE. So there's not a lot of buyers for AMC. Unless you have some good news, like a analyst upgrading. This could happen next week, right? You could get analysts upgrading their Q2 forecast. That would be positive catalyst for AMC and APE both. And I think that there's a high probability that you could get some analyst upgrades early in July they're going to see the same numbers I'm seeing, 2.6 to 2.7 billion box office. I think we'll see some upgrades. So if good news comes out, you could get out of this channel. There are a lot of shorts on AMC right now. If we get out of this channel, anybody that's shorting it right now could get in trouble. So let's cross our fingers. I want to see AMC go up, just like you guys do. I want to see Ape go up. I'd love a bit of good news right now, but lacking good news, I think both are going to be stuck. Lacking good news, AMC will tend to drift down. Ape wants to drift up, but it's being pinned by Antara, selling a percentage of the volume every day. They're unloading. They're down to about 93 million now. Until they're out of the play, Ape is going to have trouble moving above $1.80, $1.83. Every time it hits that, Antara is selling. They're selling to retail. Once they're out of the play, then you get the real ability to see what Ape could do. But even then, if you look at the arbitrage price of Ape, 260 maybe. Little FOMO action on it, $3. So just look, I don't have a crystal ball. If Antara gets completely out and people go completely crazy on conversion news, it could spike over $3. But I think you're going to need to have your alerts set and be able to act quickly. Love you guys. Thank you. I'll be around this weekend. I think my plans for the rest of the day, I got that package yesterday, the new wiring harness for my grill. And I need to go, you know, it got chewed up by the mice that eat my chicken food at night. So I'm going to go mouse-proof the grill. I've got some very thick metal, what do you call it? It's mesh, metal mesh, very heavy duty that I'm going to spot weld to the grill. I'm going to replace that wiring harness, and I want to be ready to enjoy my July 4th weekend with some barbecue outside. I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. I will be around. We'll be hanging out, hopefully having some drinks together. And feel free to drop your questions and comments down below, because I will be watching them and answering them as I tend to do. Corrine, the court hearing is done. Yeah, nobody showed up to talk for the objectors except one gentleman, so they are done. They're done early. Didn't miss much, Mr. Patriot, no. All right, guys. Thank you. Take care.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it.